Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are back with another one. So today is an exciting day. We are finally getting the hydro for the drift car, and got a little bit of things to do. We're inside the shop, so thank God it's warm. Without Tony, none of this would be possible, so shout out to Tony. Thank you. Yeah, so we already took the interior part, but I'm gonna show you guys we got the Wilwood, and it's gonna be great, because who doesn't need a goddamn freaking hydro, right? So let me show you guys what's going on. All right, let's get. Hold on. I don't want to expose you guys yet. So let me get this thing, put it in the back seat, right? So I can grab it after. But this is what we're working with now. The center console, right? We took all that out. You gotta take the glove box out just to get to the center console out. So good luck on that end. But what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna just weld a little plate on the side over here. And by we, I mean Tony, because I have no idea how to weld. But he's gonna weld a little plate on the side. We're gonna be able to put the hydro right here, and that way we'll have it next to our freaking wheel. We'll have it next to our shifter, and hopefully everything will be perfect. And then once we throw everything back together, we'll be able to cut this out a little bit, and then that way it'll kind of put it all together, because you know we want that good look. I mean, I understand it's a drift car, but here it is. Oh my goodness. Now this is a Wilwood, and if you don't know, there's actually a pretty good price on these things. Yeah, I think it's like 300 bucks. And Wilwood, you know, got that top quality. So we're gonna mount it up just like this, and I'll show you guys when he starts welding what's going on. And yeah, look, I mean, leg wise, we're like this, we're sitting pretty good. Put this off to the side, we should be just fine. It'll be right here, and perfect, not even hitting right here. And look at that, we're good. Then we just wham, 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 and that's it. So super excited. But Tony went to go get metal, so until he comes back, we're gonna have to cut this out. I already cut this side out, and hopefully this way we don't start a fire. But we can move the cables out the way, weld the plate in here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut this section out as well. And all I'm using is literally just a razor and scissors, which look like it came from Edward Scissorhands. Jesus. So cut this out, and then that way what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna put like a big piece of metal around it, just like you would if you bought the bracket. And that way we could just, you know, kind of do beads and shit around that. That way it's gonna be super sturdy when we get it over here. And what Tony plans on doing is making it so that we can actually slide the hydro if we need to. So it's gonna have slits in the metal, and then that way if we need to move it over a little bit, we could, or move it over this way if we need to, depending on how comfortable we are. And then once everything's done, then we'll figure out what to do with this thing. But for now, whatever. If we can't run it, we don't run it. I don't really care. I mean, it's a drift car, right? So, yeah. All right, now look, listen. It is not that hard. Look at that. Just run this. Make sure you watch out for wires, because we don't want to cut any wires. And listen, you probably cut one of these wires, you know what's going to happen? You're probably going to have to buy a new car, because BMW does not play. So, but there you go. And that's it. Literally, look how quick that was. That's it. Now the rest we can actually, this one's gonna pop out, and then the rest we can just actually clean up. Go over with the razor, clean all this up, and then we're good to go. There you go. Well, this is done, and look how clean that looks. Cut all this out, cut this out, cut this out. Now apparently Tony just wants to do a bolt-in, so I guess we'll do a bolt-in, bolt from here, and that's it. And then the hydro's ready to go for today. Okay, so for those of you wondering what he was just doing with the whole little cutting thing, that's what's called a plasma cutter. And basically what it does is it uses electricity. It just kind of quickly melts the metal, and then the rest of it is actually just pushed out with air. So you connect it to like compressor, you know, shop air, whatever, compressor at the shop, and then you just literally cut it using that. It heats it up real quick, and then it just pushes the rest out with the air, and then it's cut. So that's probably one of the quickest way to cut metal, and honestly, it's just efficient. So that's why we're here. Okay, with the cutting done, the edges are actually a little too sharp, I guess I could say. Yes, a little sharp. So what we're gonna have to do is we're actually gonna have to cut it. So that's why you see the angle grinder. So we're gonna use that right angle grinder, cut it down, and make it nice and smooth. And it's just a right angle grinder with a little abrasive disc on it, and that's it, smooth it out. And then we could go over to the little sand thing and then sand it down, make sure it's perfectly nice, smooth, flush, everything, all that other good stuff. And then we can move on. We already kind of test fit it Because like I said, if you're doing this hydro setup, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to like test fit a million times, but it is what it is. Especially if you're making your own bracket and you're not buying a bracket online. This is just what you're gonna have to do: test fit, put it on test fit, and just whatever. But let's move on.
That's crazy.
All right, buddy, what are you doing?
I'm mocking up where we're gonna put this bracket. We need that hydro to see how you like it, though. What the hell?
These are rim nuts, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then right here, this way we can remove any time. And now mount it up, and that's it. Not too shabby.
I need some longer bolts, I think.
All right, hydro's mounted. Now, perfect clearance. Pull back, steering wheel. Super noises. Not like there's a turbo in it or anything, but essentially that's what it would sound like. Yeah, perfect. It doesn't go anywhere. It's fucking sturdy as shit, and we're happy with it. Bam. All right, so now that the hydro's in here, got the ABS sensor. I'm gonna take that off. We've got the SRS kit, so it looks like this. Essentially, it's gonna go in here. Oh my bad. So easily, this is gonna go in here, and then weld that in, and then we can run a dual caliper setup. So, but before we can do all that, take the rotor off, take this off, take the back plate off, and then we'll be able to get enough space to be able to weld this in. So we are gonna take the ABS sensor off, get rid of that, but the car doesn't have ABS anyway, so we're not gonna need that. Listen, this might be the hardest thing I've ever tried to remove. This is the ABS sensor right here, right? I know it's dark as hell, but it's that sensor right there. And listen, that is not how it's supposed to look. It is impossible to get this thing out, so we're probably just gonna end up drilling it out. But, and then we gotta cut this, probably leave the lower half, or just get rid of it all completely. And then that way, we'll have enough room to be able to weld it on, so. Okay, so this is cut now, and hopefully we'll be able to just clean this up. So what we're gonna do is kind of grind this down, because we still need to, you see how literally we need this much more off. So we need to be pretty much flush so that we can get in here. And now you can see it. This thing doesn't come out unless you back it out. So we can leave that in there, weld right over it, whatever, we don't need it anyway. So now we just grind this down and then we'll be done. All right, so everything is cleaned up, and now got the rotor on, caliper off the side. So we're gonna have the other caliper right here. We just ended up going with OEM calipers, so I know it's not Wilwoods, whatever, but it'll do the job. So we're just gonna put OEM ones on this side, and then weld that down, and that's it. So bam. And listen, you couldn't do it better if it came OEM. Listen, look at that thing. It's about as good as it's gonna get. There you guys have it. That's it. Couldn't be any happier. Shout out to that man right there. Legend. Now all we gotta do is run the brake lines. That's gonna be for another day, but for now we're done. It's just the brake lines is the easiest part, so got everything we needed. And I couldn't be happier. So as always, make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, all the other good stuff, and see you on the next one.